We begin today the Gemara on the bottom of Chav Gimel Amud Beis, 2 lines from the bottom where it says "My Shna." So this is going back to the Mishnah. We learned here in the Mishnah a case where there were 2 people that got married to sisters, but they're not sure who got married to who. And then they both passed away, and each one of them has 2 brothers that could do Yibum. So what did the Gemara say? No, the Mishnah rather said that if they want to do Yibum, so first 2 brothers of one of these people that passed away they both are going to have to do Chalitza, and then the other 2 brothers of the other person that passed away, the first one should go ahead and do Chalitza, then the second one could go ahead and do Yibum. That's the only way one of them will be able to do Yibum. That's what it said in the Mishnah.
One out of the 4.
What again? Yes, he has to do Chalitza first, and then afterwards he's going to do Yibum. Okay, well, I'm not going to go back to the entire Mishnah, but that's one of the points at least that the Mishnah said. There's another case also. Okay, this is one. Then the Mishnah said, what happens if 2 of the brothers went and did Chalitza on one, and now the other 2 brothers from the other person that passed away, nobody did Chalitza, but those 2 brothers went and did Yibum, and the Lashon of the Mishnah was Kadmu v'Konsu, then Eimetzi miyadam. Then we're not moitzi this woman from either one of them. So the Gemara will ask a stira from another Mishnah where it seems to be speaking about a similar case, and over there the halacha is different. Fragt the Gemara, "My shno mehadetnan." Why is this different than this that it says in the Mishnah later? So we had this Mishnah a few times already. Arba achen, when there are 4 brothers, shnayim mem nesuin shtei achayis, and these 2 brothers are married to 2 sisters. Umeisu, and 2 of these 2 brothers passed away. So now you have 2 sisters that are here for Yibum for the surviving brothers. So what does it say there? Umeisu hanesuin es achayis. The 2 brothers passed away. So then, so the brothers that are still alive will do only Chalitza and not Yibum. So the question is, why over there do we say that they do only Chalitza and not Yibum? Why don't we say over there, let one brother do Chalitza, and once one brother does Chalitza, that should allow the other brother to do Yibum? What did we say in our Mishnah? As long as the first brother does Chalitza, so now that woman is separated from you, you did Chalitza, she's out of the picture, and now for the second brother you can do Yibum. The basis of the issue in this case is that when you have these 2 sisters that fall for Yibum at the same time, this is what's called Achais Zikukasai. This is the sister of this woman, the other woman that's also connected to you. So here you can't do Yibum for both of them. Okay, true. Or even Yibum for one of them, that is, because she's a sister. But what if you did Chalitza first for one of them? So now she's out of the picture. Now there's no Zika to her anymore, so you should be able to do now Yibum to the other one, like it said in our Mishnah. Another point that's different between here and there is, in our Mishnah it said that Bidi Yeved, that Kadmu v'Konsu emesim yadam. If they went and they did Yibum, we don't take them out from any of their half. We allowed them to remain married. Over there the Mishnah does not say that. Over there the Mishnah said, Kadmu v'Konsu yetziu, that if they went and they got married, they cannot remain married. They have to send them away. So what's the difference? So the Gemara says, how could you compare these 2 Mishnahs? It's not the same thing at all. Hachi hashta, what's the comparison? Hasam, over there in that Mishnah, when you had 2 brothers that were married to 2 sisters. So over there, the point is, in that case, both of these sisters that now fell for Yibum, both of them have to have Yibum done by these 2 brothers that are alive. By any of the brothers, the other 2 brothers that are here alive, both of them are here, have an obligation, have a connection of Yibum to them. And we know this for a fact. There's no doubts about this. This is not a Mishnah where we're speaking about any sfeikis. 2 brothers were married to the 2 sisters, and now the 2 brothers that are alive have a connection of Yibum to these 2 sisters. So therefore there's an issue of Achais Zikukasai. So now the Gemara explains, there are 2 reasons why Achais Zikukasai is an issue. Ilaman Amar, one reason that it's an issue is Yesh Zika. We had this before. Yesh Zika means the moment that there's a Zika, that there's that connection of Yibum, it's as if it's your wife already. So if it's as if it's your wife already, so the other sister is like a sister to your wife. So the other sister, you can't do Yibum anymore. So when you have these 2 sisters, each one is connected to you, and the other one is a sister of the one that's connected to you. So if both of them you can't do yibum for. So as Rashi explains, the point over here is once they both fell for yibum, and now there's this issue that it's like the sister of your wife. So once that's the case from the beginning, so now that isser that was there in the beginning never gets removed. Just like if a person passed away and he had children, so his wife cannot get married to a brother. That's a chayis ishtay. You could only get married if there's no children, but if there's children, you can't get married. So over here, once in the beginning, both of these sisters are up for yibum, and now it's the sister of the zekuka, so there's no mitzvah of yibum, and then the isser never goes away. So again, ilaman dama yesh zika, if the issue is that's yesh zika, so then that issue remains, and that it remains forever. Now there was another opinion why you can't do yibum for the sister of a zekuka, of ilaman da'amar, or there's another opinion, we had this already before in the Gemara, also levatel mitzvahs yivamim. Chachamim don't allow one brother to do yibum if there are two sisters here, because this you might be causing by this to be mevatel the mitzvah of yibum. If you do yibum on one sister, and then the other brother that could technically do yibum on the other sister, but if the other brother passes away, so now this sister will be stuck. Who's going to do yibum for her? You already did yibum for one sister. You can't marry two sisters at the same time. So by you marrying one sister, you're causing that you will not be able to do yibum for the other sister. So therefore Chachamim said, you can't cause that, and therefore we just do chalitza for both of them. So according to that opinion, so that concept remains forever, that because Chachamim were geyser that you can't do yibum here, so therefore this is a woman that becomes like a chais ishtay sheyesh leibanim, or not a chais ishtay, but rather eishes achiv. It's like the wife of your brother, that yesh leibanim, that has children, and therefore forever you can't do yibum for her. So this is all regarding the Mishnah later that discusses a case where there's no doubts of here about what happened. We know for a fact it's two brothers and married to two sisters, and now the two brothers passed away, and there's another two brothers that have to do the yibum. But over here that's not the case. Over here we're talking about two unrelated individuals, number one, and number two, got married to two sisters, and they don't know who got married to who. So there's a lot of it's a very different thing. It's unknown over here. So hacha over here, kol chad v'chad, each one of these brothers, right, both of these individuals that passed away, for each one of them there are two brothers that are alive. So each one of them could come and say, Eimer can say, Didei kamisram yelei. If I did yibum, maybe the one that I did yibum for is the one that's actually my yevama. Over here, it's not a case where we know for a fact that both of these sisters are now here for yibum for you. They're not here for yibum for you. Only one of them is. We just don't know which one it is. So therefore, when you have a relation with one of them, so it might be the actual yevama that's yours, or it might be the sister of the zekuka. But we don't know who, the sister of the real Yevama. But we don't know which one it is. So over here you can't say that from the beginning, because there's an issue, that issue remains forever. That issue is not going to remain forever. As long as you go ahead and do chalitza to one of them, and now she's out of the picture, if you go ahead and get married to the other one, that's okay. So because the emes is that there is only one Yevama over here. And also after the fact, if the yibum was done for both of them, so each one could say, I did yibum for mine, and you did yibum for yours, and once each one did yibum, it disconnects from the other, and there's no issue with the yibum. Whereas over there in the Mishnah later, there are actually two yivamim that are zakuk to both brothers. This is actually the case. It's not one, and we just don't know who it is. They actually are both zakuk to you. So over there, once it remains, it was also in the beginning, it remains also forever. Let's continue. The Gemara says, "Kadmu v'konsu ein matziin chulu." So the Mishnah said that kadmu v'konsu, that what happens in a case where you had these brothers here. So again, you had two people married to two sisters, and we don't know which sisters they were married to. And each one of them has two brothers, two surviving brothers after they passed away. So the Mishnah said that really you have to have the first two brothers do chalitza, and then you have to have from the other group of brothers. One of them has to do chalitza, and then one of them could go ahead and do yibum. What if they did not do chalitza? That one brother did not do chalitza. Okay, the Mishnah over there said, so Kadmu shnayim v'cholzu lo yivma shnayim ela echad chayletz ve'echad miyabim. From the other two brothers, two of them did chalitza, so then from the other two brothers, from the other person that passed away, so you first have to, one of them has to do chalitza, and then the other one could do yibum. But even if one of them did not do chalitza, and they both went and got married to these two sisters, so the Mishnah says, Ei Metzi Miyodam, we allow them to remain married. So on this, Tana Shila said, Va'afil Shneim Kainim. This is even in a case where both of these brothers that got married to both of these sisters are Kainim. My time, so now the question is, how could you allow these two brothers to get married to the Kainim if these two different people to get married to the Kainim here, if one of them, a chalitza was done to her? I mean, the chalitza was done to both of them, but we don't know which one, the chalitza was a real chalitza, which one was not, because we don't know which one is really the sister that was married to, that needs a chalitza. There's a suffix, who's married to who, but for one of them for sure, the chalitza was a real chalitza. One of the women that a kayin is not allowed to get married to is a chalutza, a woman that already received the chalitza. So the question is, how could both of these brothers get married to the chalutza? One of them is for sure a chalutza if they're kayinim. And says the Gemara, chalutza de rabbanani. The reason is because the chalitza, a woman that's a chalutza, is only a isim de rabbanan for a kayin to marry. V'safik chalutza legazir bu rabbanan. When it's a suffix, which one is the chalutza? Chachamim were not geyser. Even though between these two, one of them for sure married a chalutza, but because we don't know who is the real chalutza, one of the chalitzas was not a real chalitza because we don't know who was married to whom.
Why wouldn't you know?
Because you have over here two sisters and we don't know who was her wife. So we don't know which brother is the one that did a real chalitza and which brother's chalitza was not a real chalitza because it's not even his brother's wife. So since we don't know who is the real chalutza here, so therefore Chachamim were not guys into this place. The Gemara of a chalutza de rabbanani is the isser of a kain marrying a chalutza only a isser de rabbanan? But Vatanya in a brayse we learned it from a pasuk. Grusha, it says in the Torah, a kain shouldn't marry a grusha, ainly a grusha. That means only you should marry a grusha. Chalutza minayin. How do you know that a kain is not allowed to marry a chalutza as well? Tamid loima ve'isha. The pasuk over there says ve'isha, that comes to add even a chalutza. Answers the Gemara, even though it seems like we're learning it from a pasuk, midrabanan hi. Truth is, it's only midrabanan. Kra asmachta balmahu. The kra is just an asmachta, but it's not the real source for this iser. Okay, but in some other places it says that maybe this is a machlokes, because there's a Mishnah in Makkis where it does mention chalutza as one of the women that you can get malchus for. Okay, but in our Gemara it says that a chalutza is an iser midrabanan. Okay, let's continue. Sagt the Mishnah, mitzvah begadol yavim. When it comes to the mitzvah of yibum, and I have more than one brother, so it's a mitzvah for the oldest to do the yibum. Vim kadam akatan, but if the katan went ahead, a younger brother went ahead earlier and did yibum, zacha. So the yibum takes effect. Tan Rabbanan, so we learned in a brayse that brings the source for this. The pasuk says, "V'hoya b'chayr," that the b'chayr, the lashon of the pasuk there is, it says, "V'hoya b'chayr asher teled yakom al shem achav ameis." What's the simple pshat of that pasuk? In that pasuk, when it says b'chayr, the firstborn, it's actually talking about the firstborn after the yibum, and now they give birth to a b'chayr, and that b'chayr, you'll name him on the name of the brother that passed away. That's a simple pshat of the pasuk. But the Gemara darshans it differently. Mikan shemitzvah begadol yavim. We say that the word v'haya b'chayr refers back to the older brother, the one that's doing the yibum. That when we see that the older one is the one that should do the yibum. So Rashi over here says the way the Gemara is reading the pasuk is in the previous pasuk it says l'kacha loy leisha v'yibma. You should be miyabim her, and then it says v'haya b'chayr. So you read v'haya b'chayr together with the l'kacha loy leisha that it's the b'chayr that's the one that does the yibum. Here we see that it's the older one that does the yibum. Then the pasuk says, Asher Teiled, that she can give birth. Prat la'aylanis shein li'ledis. For an aylanis that can't give birth, there's no mitzvah of yibum. Then it says, Yakum al shem achiv, that he'll be in the brother's place, that the yavam takes the brother's place, lenachla. That means that he inherits him. Once he does yibum for his wife, he inherits all of his possessions. So the Gemara says, wait a minute, you say that it refers to the fact that the Yavam inherits his brother. Why don't we translate the pasuk into simple pshat, that the son that he'll give birth to will then be in the name, he'll carry the name of the brother that passed away, which means Yosef, Kairan Isa Yosef. If your brother that passed away, his name was Yosef, so the child that's born, give him a name Yosef. Yechanan, Kairan Isa Yechanan, or the name Yechanan. So that's the simple pshat of when it says Yakum al Shem Achiv. So why don't we learn it, translate it that way? That says the Gemara, Nema kan Yakum al Shem Achiv, because here the Torah uses this expression of shame, that he's on his brother's name. V'nema lahalon, there's another pasuk that says, Al Shem Achayim Yikoru b'Nachlosam. This is by Menashe and Ephraim, I believe, that they take the Nachla from the brothers, or the same Nachla like the brothers. So over there, it says also the same term of shame, al shem achayim, so we compare the two. Ma shem ma'amala alon nachla, just like there, the word shame refers to the fact that they also inherit. Av shem ma'amakala nachla. So the term shame over here is also for inheritance, that the Yavam inherits from his brother. Then the pasuk says, V'lo yamachish shmai, that the name of the brother should not be erased by the fact that you're marrying his wife and giving birth to a child. So what does this mean? Prat l'sris sheshmoi mochi. That means that in a case where the Yavam himself was a sris, he couldn't give birth, so then the mitzvah of Yibum does not apply because his name is already erased from before he can't give birth. Talk to Gemara, Amar Rav, and Rav said about this brayso that we just learned. Even though usually in all of Torah we say, we don't take the pasuk out of a simple pshat. Even if you have a drasha from a pasuk, but that's added to the simple pshat. It doesn't remove the simple pshat. But hacha asoy gzeireshava apikte mipashte legamri. Here the gzeireshava completely removes the simple pshat of the pasuk. What was the simple pshat of the pasuk when it said Yakum al Shem Achiv, that the child gets the name of the brother? And what are we saying here in the gzeireshava? No, it doesn't mean about getting the name of the brother. It means that the brother, the Yavam, inherits his brother, but not the name. We take with the simple pshat does not apply at all. So the Gemara, could you say this? But vilav gzeireshava. If not for this gzeireshava, havamina shame mamish. That the pshat of the pasuk is that literally that you have to give the name for the son that's born like the brother. Is that what the pasuk means? But it doesn't fit into the language of the pasuk. Because what does it say? Yakum al Shem Achiv. The child born should stand and with the name of the brother. Who's saying this over here? Laman kamaz rachmana. Who is the Torah telling this to? Liyavam. If the Torah is saying it to the Yavam, so then the language of the pasuk is incorrect. It should have said Yakum al Shem Achicha. We're talking to him directly. We should say you should give a name on your brother's name for the child that's born. So it's to say Achicha, not Achiv, his brother. We're talking to him directly. That's what the pasuk should have said. If Bezdin is not speaking to the brother, to the Yavam, but it's speaking to the Bezdin, so then Yakum al Shem Achi Aviv Mibayale. So then the right language would be that the pasuk is saying to the Bezdin, you see this child that's born, what kind of name should you make sure this child gets? He should get a name, the brother of his father, to the uncle. He gets the uncle's name. That's we're speaking about this child that's born here, to the Bezdin. That's what it should have said. So why does it say Yakum al Shem Achiv? Who are we speaking to? So the Gemara says no. We could say as follows: V'dilma hachi kamu lahu rachmana. If not for the gzeireshava, in the simple pshat of the pasuk, I would say the way you read the pasuk is as follows: LeBezdin amrulei liyavam. The Bezdin says to the Yavam, Yakum al Shem Achiv. The Torah is speaking to the Bezdin, and the Torah is telling the Bezdin, tell the brother that he should give the name on his brother. That's what Yakum al Shem Achiv would mean. So what? Ella asay gzeireshava apikte legamri. In this case, Rava says that the gzeireshava completely removes the simple pshat of the pasuk. Apparently, Rava had a mesaida that this is the case. That over here we do not have the simple pshat at all, and all it means is that you inherit the Yavam inherits his brother, but not regarding the name of the child. Talk to Gemara. Going back to the first point of this brayso, what did it say? What is the meaning of a hoya ha-b'chayr? Right, it said in the pasuk that the b'chayr does the yibum. So the Gemara said when it says v'haya b'chayr, it means the gadol, the oldest brother, does yibum. So the next piece of the Gemara it will discuss, but it says in the pasuk b'chayr. What do we do with the fact that it says b'chayr, which means only the firstborn? Now that you say that the pasuk is saying that the older brother does yibum, not necessarily the b'chayr, but who says? Eime b'chayr liyabim. Maybe I should say only a b'chayr has the mitzvah of yibum, but pashit lo liyabim. But a simple brother that's not a b'chayr, plain brother, does not do yibum. Maybe you read the pasuk literally. It's only the b'chayr. Right? So if there were two brothers and the older brother passed away, and now you have a plain brother that's still alive, there's no mitzvah of yibum. If it's the other way around, if a regular brother passes away and the b'chayr is still alive, maybe only a b'chayr does yibum. Says the Gemara, that can't be. Imkain, because if that would be the case, Eishes achav shaloi haya ba'ilami. The case of Eishes achav shaloi haya ba'ilami, when there was a new brother born later, and then the Torah comes and excludes him from the mitzvah of Yibum because he wasn't alive before, the Miyat Rachman Elamali. Why would I have to have a special pasuk to exclude this brother that's born later? If you're telling me that the mitzvah of Yibum only applies to a B'chair, so obviously that B'chair is born earlier. So there is no scenario of a brother that's born later that you have to exclude from Yibum. So the fact that I need a special exclusion for that means that the mitzvah of Yibum even would apply otherwise to a younger brother that's born later. Sagt the Gemara, but Parach Ravacha asked on this, that still, why wouldn't I say, Lemu'ute buchre de imam? Why can't we say that the case over here is that we're coming to exclude the B'chair from the mother, even if he's not a B'chair from the father? He's born later, but he's a B'chair from the mother. That's what the pasuk over here means when it says V'hoya B'chair, at least that he's a B'chair from the mother. Says the Gemara, no. Ahu leimatzes amris. The fact that he's a B'chair from the mother, you can't say that has any relevance here regarding Yibum. Why? The Yibum benachla tal rachmana. Because when it comes to Yibum, it all is connected to the mitzvah of nachla, of inheriting. Benachla min ha'av v'lei min ha'im. A brother, what kind of brother inherits? Only a brother that has the same father, not a brother that has the same mother. So therefore, the fact that he's a B'chair from the mother, that's not relevant at all. That's nothing. But the Gemara now goes back to the pasuk. What did it say in the pasuk? V'hoya B'chair. And we said it's lav dafka the B'chair. It's any gadol. But the question is, ve'emim, maybe we should say, ki ikke B'chair, when there is a B'chair, there's a brother here that's a B'chair, t'skayim mitzvah Yibum. Maybe then the mitzvah of Yibum is applicable. Ki leke B'chair. If amongst the brothers that are here, there is no B'chair at all, let t'skayim mitzvah Yibum. Maybe then there's no mitzvah of Yibum. Right, so even if you're telling me that it's not necessarily the B'chair that has to do the Yibum, but maybe the mitzvah of Yibum only applies when there is a B'chair here. Says the Gemara, no. Amakra, the pasuk said, Umeis achad mehem, and one of the two brothers passed away. So there's two brothers, and one of them passed away. Says the Gemara, Milo yaskinon, isn't the case here the mis B'chair, that these two brothers, the B'chair and the regular brother, and so isn't the case that the B'chair passed away? V'amar Rachman, and the Torah is saying, Liyabn Katan, that the Katan, the younger brother, is the one that does the Yibum. So therefore, it's not only if you have a surviving B'chair here. Says the Gemara, but how do you know this? Ve'emem, maybe say, the mis Katan, when it says there in the pasuk that there were two brothers and one of them passed away, maybe that only means that the younger brother passed away without children. And v'amar Rachman liyavim B'chair. And then the Torah is saying that the B'chair is the one that does Yibum. Only if there's a B'chair here, there's the mitzvah of Yibum. So the Gemara goes back to what it says before, but that can't be. Because if you're telling me that it's only the B'chair that does the Yibum, or only when there is a B'chair is there a mitzvah of Yibum, and the pshat in this pasuk is going to be that the cotton passed away and the B'chair is still alive, so in such a case, it's impossible to have a brother that was not alive before. He's the B'chair. So therefore that can't be the case over here. But the Gemara goes back and asks another question. Maybe we should say, Ki leke B'chair, if there's no B'chair alive after this brother passed away, let's say the B'chair is the brother that passed away, so now there's no B'chair here, so then Kodam Kotan Zacha. Then, if any younger brother goes ahead and does the Yibum takes effect. But V'ike B'chair, maybe if there is a B'chair alive available to do the Yibum, Kodam Kotan Le Zacha. Then, if a younger brother will go ahead and do Yibum before the B'chair, maybe then the Yibum does not take effect. Right? So it said in our Mishnah, right? Kadam HaKatan Zacha, that if the Katan does the Yibum, his Yibum takes effect. Maybe that's only if there's no B'chair. Maybe that's why the Torah writes, V'hoya B'chair. If the B'chair is alive, he must do the Yibum. So the Gemara says, no. On Makra, the Pasuk says, Ki yeshvu achim yachtav, the brothers that are living together. So this means Huksha Yeshivas Achim Zelazeh. We compare the brothers that are living together one to another, that the halacha is the same, whether there's a B'chair alive, whether there's not a B'chair alive. The halacha of the Yibum is always the same. That the older one does it, and if he did not, and a younger one came in ahead and did it, the Yibum takes effect. Frek, the Gemara, another question, but still, maybe we should say that when the pasuk says V'haya B'chair, we should learn from this that Ki Ike B'chair, if there is a B'chair here, then Leheder Agadol. Then this whole concept of saying that the older one should do the Yibum applies. Ki Leke B'chair, but if there is no B'chair, so then Ein Chayzer and Eitzel Gadol. We don't even look to see that the Gadol should do the Yibum. Then all brothers equally can go ahead and do Yibum. Allah matani Abaye Kashisha. Why did Abaye Kashisha learn that Abraisa says mitzvah begadol liyabim? The mitzvah is that the older brother should do the yibum. If he did not want to do the mitzvah, so you go to a younger brother. The younger brother did not want to do it. So then you go back to the older brother. Right? So the question is, it seems like what Abai over here is quoting is that this is always, the mitzvah is always with the gadol. Whether there's a b'chayre, whether there's not a b'chayre. Maybe we should say that the mitzvah is dafka with the gadol if there's a b'chayre. If there's no b'chayre, then all brothers are equal. Says the Gemara, no, that's not the case because we compare it to the b'chayr. Ma b'chayr b'chayrase garmulai. Just like by a b'chayr, what's the reason why the b'chayr is the one that has to do first? Because he's the oldest. The fact that he's the oldest is the reason that causes that he has the mitzvah first. Av gadol, so by a gadol it's the same thing. Even though he's not the b'chayr, but the fact that he's the oldest, now he's the oldest of the brothers that's alive, gedulase garmulai. So the fact that he's the oldest, that causes to be the mitzvah, that the mitzvah should be his mitzvah. Frag the Gemara. Again, the Gemara is all pressing on, trying to figure out why the pasuk says b'chayr. If we're saying that it's not dafka for b'chayr, it's even for a gadol. So why does it say b'chayr? Maybe we should say ki miyabim b'chayr lishkel nachla. If it's the b'chayr the one that does the yibum, so then the b'chayr gets the inheritance from his brother. But ki miyabim pashit. But if it's a plain brother, not a b'chayr that does the yibum, then his level of yibum is not as strong, and therefore lishkel nachla. He doesn't get the inheritance from his brother. Maybe there's still a distinction here. So the Gemara says, no, we can't say that either. Al makra yakum al shem achiv. We learned that before from the pasuk yakum al shem achiv, that he gets the inheritance of how they come, that he takes from his brother. If he's there, if he married his wife, he gets from his brother the nachla. So there's no difference. So after all of this, so the Gemara asks, so ve'ela b'chayr the kari rachmana lemai hilchasa. So if so, why does the Torah write the term b'chayr? If when it says b'chayr, it doesn't come to limit the mitzvah of yibum dafka to the b'chayr in any way, it's even by a gadol and so on, so then why did it say b'chayr? Says the Gemara, l'greyese. It actually mentions b'chayr to exclude something in the negative, and that is ma b'chayr ein noitel beroi ki b'muchsek. The halacha by a b'chayr is when he inherits and he gets a double portion, he only gets a double portion of what's actually in the father's possession when he passed away. Not from any properties that he's going to receive, but he doesn't presently have when he passed away. So only what he actually is muchsik, what he has, he gets. So to the Yavam, he does not inherit in the possessions or things from his brother that were roi, that he's going to receive, but only the possessions and the money that he actually has when he passed away. So that's a certain limitation in the nachla and the inheritance of the Yavam that we learn out from the fact that it compares it and it uses the term b'chayr. This is actually a case that's not related here to Yibum. Hanitan ala shivcha, if there is a rumor about a person that he had a relationship with a shivcha, with a gayish shivcha, v'nishtachrera, and now she was redeemed. There's a rumor saying that a person had relations with a guy. V'nisgaira, and now she becomes a ger, a geyiris. He's not allowed to go ahead and marry any of these women. As Rashi says, because if he's going to go ahead and marry her, people are going to say, oh look, this rumor is probably true. Because look, they became a ger, and he went and married her. But if he did go and marry her, we don't take him out, we don't take her out, we allow them to remain married. Similar halacha, if there's a rumor about a person that had relations with a woman that's married to someone else, and she was taken out from her husband, he divorced her. So Rashi says Haitziyua means that the Bezdin told her husband that you have to let her go because she had relations with someone else. So even so, this person shouldn't marry her. But if he went and married her, yaitzi. If he did go and marry her, so yaitzi is not allowed to stay married to her. As Rashi brings, it's awesome and atayre for this bayil, for this person that had relations with her while she was an Eishes Ish, to go and marry her. So therefore, if he did, he has to send her. He can't remain married to her. What do I see here in this Mishnah? You have a woman, a shivcha, a vedas kachavim. People say that she has a relationship with some yid, and now she's becoming a giyaitis. So what it says is this yid should not go and marry her because it's a bad rumor. It's not going to look good. But the gatus takes effect. Why does the gatus take effect? Veramini, I'll ask you a question. It says as follows: Echad ish, whether a man shen is ger that becomes a ger. l'shum isha, and he's only becoming a ger because there's a certain woman that he wants to marry. Or ve'echad isha, or a woman shenis gaira l'shumish. She's becoming a ger because she wants to marry a certain man. Or v'chein, mishan is gaira l'shum shulchan malachim, a person that only becomes a ger because he wants to sit around the table of kings. He wants to have the riches that there is by Yidden. Or l'shum avdei shleima, or because he wants to be a servant of Shleima HaMelech to have all the riches there. Einon geirim. All these people, they did not become geirim for the sake of actually accepting Torah mitzvahs for the right reasons, just because of whatever benefit they'll receive. The geirus does not take effect. Divrei Rav Nechemya, this is Rav Nechemya's opinion. Shahoy Rav Nechemya Rav Nechemya would say, Echad geirei aroyes. Whether geirim that became geirim because out of fear. This is based on a story. This is the story with the Kutim. In the Kutim, at the time of the first Beis HaMikdash, so the Eibusha sent lions to attack them, and they were afraid, so they became geirim. But they weren't really sincere. They became geirim because they were afraid. Or ve'echad geirei chaloimis. Person that becomes a ger, he says, I had a dream. I had a dream that I was told to become a Jew. It's also not really serious. Ve'echad geirei Mordechai ve'Esther, or geirim in the generation of Mordechai ve'Esther. The pasuk here says, "V'rabim ame aretz misyadim." They became geirim, but it was just out of fear. Einon geirim, none of them are geirim. Ad she is geiru b'zman hazeh, until they become geirim today. So the Gemara clarifies this last line here. What does that mean? B'zman hazeh salkadaitach. Geirim are only geirim today. What does that mean that geirim are only geirim today? Elohim, what the Gemara says, ki b'zman hazeh. Only geirim that become geirim in like a situation that Yidden are in today, where anyone that's becoming a ger today, it's not because of the riches and the greatness of what he's going to have in the Yidden. He's doing, even if he's doing it in a situation where there is no good that he's going to get from it, but still, Yidden are in Golus, and still he becomes a ger, that's a real geirus. He's sincere. This is the opinion, this is what it says here in the Brayser of Nechemya said. So what's the problem? So why does it say in our Mishnah that this woman that has a relation with someone and then becomes a ger, that the geirus takes effect? Can't we see that this is not a sincere geirus? Says the Gemara, Barayit Mar Allah, we learned in this, Amar Rav Yitzchak Bar Shmuel Bar Marta Mishmei de Rav, Halacha K'divrei Ha'omer, we paskin like the opinion that says, Kulam geirim heim. All of these different scenarios we just mentioned, even though it seems like they're not sincere, but if they convert, the geirus is accepted. Fragt the Gemara, so ihachi lechatchila nami. If so, lechatchila, this person should be allowed to go and marry this woman. Once she became a geirus and the geirus is accepted, so why can't he go ahead and marry her? And says the Gemara, Mishum de Ravasi. It's like Ravasi explained this. The Amar Ravasi said, Haser mimcha, we remove from you ikshus pevel azus sfasayim. Person in his behavior has to see to it to remove all these bad rumors that people say about him. If you're going to go and marry this woman and there was a rumor about you, that you had relations with her before she became a geirus, so that will only perpetuate the rumor. So therefore we say that stay away from this. But really the geirus is accepted. Tan Rabbanan and a Braisa we learned, in the times when Mashiach comes, we don't accept Geirim anymore because they're not sincere. They're only becoming Geirim because they see all the great good things for Yidden. Kayetze by similar, Kiblu Geirim, they did not accept Geirim, Bimei David, Bimei Shleima. Not in the generation of David and Shleima Melech, because the Geirim would want to become Geirim only because of the good that they see that Yidden have. Amar Rabbi Eliezer said, Maikra, what's the pasuk that we don't accept Geirim in such a time? Hein Goir Yogur, when do we take the Geirim that come to be with Yidden? Efes Mei Oisi, that's only when we don't see the Eibishter amongst Yidden and we don't see the greatness of the Eibishter amongst us. Mi gar itcha alayich yipal. The one that becomes a ger with you is even in the time when things are poor and not good for Yidden. So then alayich yipal, he will be zeichet to Eilam Haba. He will fall and he'll be together with Yidden in Eilam Haba if he becomes a ger in such a time. Aval idach loy. But anyone else, if someone's becoming a ger in a time when things are just going good for Yidden and it's not sincere, so that gerus is not a real gerus. Then it said in the Mishnah, nitan aleishis ish, that a person that there was a rumor about him that he had relations with an Eshes Ish, so then he should not get married to her, and even if he does, Yaitzi, he can't stay married to her. Amar Rav, so Rav explains, Ube'edim. The Mishnah is not just speaking about a rumor. The Mishnah is speaking about a case where there is actually Edim that he had relations with this woman that was married. So Rav Sheisha said about the statement of Rav, Amina, I say, Kinayim v'shachiv Rav, Amar lahoshmaitase. Rav said this when he was awake, asleep. He wasn't fully awake when he said this, because he says there's a Braisa that we can see clearly not so. Why? The Tanya, a Braisa we learned, Hanitan aleishisish, if there's a rumor on a person that he had relations with an Eishes Ish. And because of this, they told the husband to divorce or to send away his wife. And then what happened? She got married to someone else. She didn't get married to this person that there's a rumor about him, that he has relations with her, but then she got married to someone else, and then v'nizgarsha mitachas yidei acher. And then she was divorced from that second person as well. On this, the Braisa says, im kanas, if now this person that there was a rumor about him, that he had relations with her when he was married to the first husband, im kanas, if he marries her now, lo yaitzi. He doesn't have to send her away. We allow him to remain married to her. Right, so usually we say, if there's a rumor that you had relations with an Eishes Ish, and then the first husband sent her away, you're not allowed to go and get married to her. And even if yes, you have to mitzi, you have to be mitzi her. But if yes, someone else married her in between, you are allowed. So the Gemara says, what's the reason for the difference here? Hey Chidami, what are we speaking about? If we're speaking about a case that there are actually Eidim telling us that you had relations with her when she was an Eishes Ish, so so if someone else in between interrupted this rumor and got married to her, why does it matter? There's Eidim that told us. We know for a fact that you had relations with her when she was married to the first person. You're not allowed to get married to her. Elolav. So then what's the case? What are we speaking about over here? The lek Eidim. That there are no Eidim. There are no Eidim that are saying this is just simply a rumor. And therefore, what is the Braisa here saying? The only reason why you're allowed to remain married to her is because someone else in between already interrupted the whole rumor. Someone else in between already married her. But if that's not the case, if nobody else came in between and there was just a rumor, and then you immediately go and marry her afterwards, mafkinon. So then he has to be mitzier. So we see over here that the case of when he has to be mitzier is even in a case where there's just a rumor, even without any Eidim. Says the Gemara, Amalach Rav, Rav will answer you no. Hu adin, the afal gav, the loy asa acher, v'afseke lekoli. The truth is that even if nobody else came in between and married her and interrupted the rumor, even then, if you would go ahead and marry her, just because there was a rumor, that's not enough of a reason that you would have to be mitzi her. Okay? So what Rav is basically saying is, in our Mishnah, when it says that if you married her, you have to be mitzi her, that's because there's Eidim there. That's why you have to be mitzi her. In this Braisa, though, it's speaking about when there's no Eidim. There was just a rumor. And therefore, if there's just a rumor, if you had married her, you would not have to be mitzi her, even if nobody came in between to marry her. So why does it mention in the Braisa about the fact that someone came in between and married her? The only reason the Braisa is saying that is because it wants to tell you as follows. The afal gav, the asa acha v'afseke lekola. Even though someone already came in between and married her and it interrupted, it stopped the whole rumor about something that you did, that you had relations with her, still the Braisa says, lichatchila lo yichnois. Still, lichatchila, you should not marry her. Only b'diavad, if you married her after that person divorced her, then you're allowed. That's the only reason why the Braisa mentions this thing that someone else in between married her, to let you know that lachatchila you still shouldn't marry her. But the truth is, regarding the b'diavad, if you did marry her, it doesn't make a difference if someone came in between and married her or not, because this in the Braisa, it's only speaking about a rumor. Either way, once you marry her, you don't have to send her away. But in the Mishnah, it was speaking about a case where there's Eidim. If there's Eidim, so then once you marry her, you have to send her away. Meisvei, the Gemara asks on Rav from another Braisa. The Braisa says, "Bamed varam amurim kishein labanim." When do I say that if you married this woman that there's a bad rumor about, so that and then you have to send her away? Kishein labanim, if she had no children from the first marriage. Aval yesh labanim, but if she had children from the first marriage, so then loy teitze. So then she should not go out from the second marriage. Why? Because then people are going to say, "What's with the children? Maybe those children are mamzerim." We don't want there to be any chash that people should start saying that the children are mamzerim. So then, leiteitze. Ve'im bo eidei tumah. If eidim come and clearly say tumah, meaning that they did have relations, so if you do have eidim here, then afila yesh lo kama bonim teitze. So then, this is a isam and atayre for the boil to go and marry this woman that he had relations with her when she was an eishes ish. So then, even if there are children, it doesn't matter. If he went and married her, he has to send her out. So what do we see over here? That only in a case where there's children, then we say that if there's Eidim, he's still going to have to send her out. But if there's no children, so then it's not totally in the fact that there's Eidim. So then, if there's no children, then he has to send her out even without Eidim. Says the Gemara, Rav Moikilo Masnisen B'Yeshla Banim V'Yeshla Eidim. Rav, when he said that our Mishnah is speaking about that there's Eidim, is because he explained that our Mishnah is speaking about a case where this woman already had children from the first marriage. Because she had children from the first marriage, so then this person that went and married her afterwards, he's only going to have to send her out if there's Eidim. Exactly like it said in this Braisa. Fragt the Gemara, so why is Rav explaining our Mishnah that way? What's pushing Rav to explain our Mishnah? That our Mishnah is speaking about that this Eishes Ish, from the first marriage, she had children, and therefore the case over here is that there are Eidim, that this person had relations with her, and only because there are Eidim, therefore if he marries her, he would have to send her out. And v'taimedeke Eidim, and it's only because there's Eidim here, mafkinon, that's why he's going to have to send her out. But v'ileke Eidim, loy mafkinon. But if there's no Eidim, he's not going to have to send her out. Like, let him say that the Mishnah is speaking about b'shein labanim, that this Eishes Ish had no children, and then I would say afagav deleke Eidim, even if there are no Eidim that he had any relations with her, even if it's just a rumor, if he goes afterwards and marries her, he still has to send her out. Again, when there's children, there's a concern that we don't want the children to be labeled as mamzedim. So why can't we say that our Mishnah is speaking about when there's no children, and then we're machmer that he has to send her out even if there's no Eidim? How did Rav know how to explain our Mishnah that it's dafke with children and with Eidim? Amar Rava, so Rava answers, he sees it in the words of the Mishnah, Masnisen Kashise, because he had a question on the Mishnah. Ma'ir yeditani haitzi uha. Why does the Mishnah say they took out this woman from her husband? Which means the Bezdin forced her to go out. Lisni haitzia. Why doesn't it say that the first husband that was married to her sent her away? Not that the Bezdin forced her. Ella, the answer is, why does it say Hoitziyua, the Bezdin sent her out? Kol Hoitziyua beBezdin. When it uses this term, Hoitziyua, they took her out, that means that the Bezdin forced her out. And how? How could Bezdin force her to go away from her husband? Bezdin be'edim udamafki. Bezdin only send away a woman from her husband, not if it's just simply a rumor that someone else had relations with her, but it has to be that the case was that there was actually Eidim here. So that word, Hoitziyua, indicates that there must have been Eidim that Bezdin was relying on. And therefore, the case is that she had children from the first husband, and only because she had children from the first husband, then I say that if there's Eidim, if she gets married to this new guy here that had relations with her, he's going to have to send her out.